is Alexis, and welcome to my channel. This is my first talking to camera video, so please bear with me. Additionally, I have my notes over here on the side, so if you see me look over here, I'm looking at my notes. But I have, ooh, okay, so I have my books here on the side from Storygraph, and I'm going to let you guys know if I would recommend my 2024 reads with a sí or no, and then I'm going to give you a short little pitch to see if you would be interested in reading them. So, let's start. First up, we have Her Body and Other Parties. Yes, I guess. Personally, I don't feel like short story collections are for me. It takes me forever to get through them. And by the time I feel like, ooh, I'm in a groove with this character, joke's on you, the story's done and we're going to the next character. So, yes, if your vibe is like, I don't know, like girl going through the world, the first story was good, but the SVU story, like in the middle, oof, I had a hard time getting through that one. Almost dropped it, but I can't DNF a book because I'm like, oh, but like, what if I read like 5 more pages and I love it? That never happens. Sometimes it does. Okay, next. Eileen by Tessa Moshfegh. Not my favorite of hers, but it was fine. It's about this woman. She works at a boys' prison, and basically, this new girl, this new woman comes into work, and Eileen becomes obsessed with her. And Eileen has a horrible home life, and then something crazy happens. The last, like, towards the end of the book, and you're like, what the fuck? And yeah, shit hits the fan in a really dramatic way. The movie was good. Love Anne Hathaway. But in the movie, Eileen kind of came off as like, I don't know, like a twisted Rory Gilmore. Those are the vibes I got. Next, Love Radio by Ebony Liddell. I loved this book. It's a YA romance where you follow Prince Jones and Danny Ford. Prince wants to be a DJ when he grows up, and then Danny wants to be an author. She wants to be a writer. And Prince is kind of already a DJ as he takes up like an hour of his, I believe, his uncle's radio show at a race station in Detroit, and he gives love advice. So he's like, he's like very like professional, like he's so respectful, he's so cutie. And then Danny, I love her. She's gone through some things in her past and she's having a little trouble with her friend group right now because of those things. And she's having trouble letting go and like moving forward and continuing to pursue her dream. And they sort of like come together, and I don't know, I feel like they kind of help each other go through that. And I feel like they had like they have such a mature way of like resolving it. Like the end is not rushed, it's not forced. And I really like that. I really appreciated it. I love this one. As you can see, I gave it 5 stars. And I feel like it's such a good read. Like, I feel like it's a good tandem read you can do with like your kid or something who's like in high school, maybe like 8th, 7th grade. I don't know. I feel like this is very sweet. Okay, next, Raiders of the Lost Heart by Joe Segura. C, big C, because this is like my perfect piece of media. It's romance with action adventure. Like, it's incredible. I personally love Indiana Jones movies. So if you wish the Indiana Jones movies had more Indy and like Marion, this is for you. Except he's like a little dweeb, kind of a dweeb, and she's like a badass, like Lara Croft vibe, which I love that dynamic. This was so good. There is spice. They're in Mexico in the rainforest at an archaeological dig. They're former academic rivals, still kind of rivals. Seriously, like this is everything to me. And I think I'm due for a reread soon. Next up, A Dowry of Blood. C, if you liked Nosferatu. No, if you don't like very sad, real shit. It kind of got like really dark at times. That's fine, but I'm just letting you know. It gets dark at times, but it is very atmospheric. So yeah, I would say yeah. Next up, YN, A Novel by Esther Yee. C or no? I really want to say C because I really liked this book. It's fucking weird. What the fuck is happening is like I almost threw up section of this book. I almost threw up. Like that's how gross. And I'm not really like queasy like that, but something in here really got me. I know what it is. I'm not gonna say it, but this is crazy. Also, I feel like if you like K-pop, this is good. I like K-pop. I feel like it could piss some people off, but I don't know. I like that. Like I like it. It was good. I'm definitely locked in um to whatever Esther Yee reads next. Next, Cemetery Boys. This is a huge, huge C. I loved this book so much. We follow our main character, and he's part of a coven, Brujex coven, and in LA we follow like everyone is like Latino and like they're so cute, and he's like recently came out as like trans to his family, and yeah, it's just very wholesome. I love there's like a scene in the book where like he goes to hug his grandma and he's like, oh, she smells like Violeta, like I smell like Violeta, like it was very sweet. And there's gonna be a sequel, so I need everyone to pick it up. The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. I'm so sorry, I'm really sorry, but this is gonna be a no for me. I loved our main character, Alexa. Like, I love her. And that is why I simply cannot stand by as she falls in love with this subpar man. I really can't. I really can't. Like, he was so annoying to me. Like, he was so annoying. So annoying. And I loved Alexa. Like, she deserves so much better. Like, she's literally everything. I think she's, like, the chief of staff for, like, the mayor. Like, hello. She's so incredible. But I did like the storyline of her with her sister. And I can see a world in where I continue with the series because it's like one of those interconnected standalones where like you're following kind of like other people in her life and his life fall in love. So, alrighty, next up, Bride by Ali Hazelwood. C, a big giant C. I fucking, oh my god, I ate this book up. This is my first ever Ali Hazelwood. I know, I know, I know. This has me locked for all other Ali Hazelwoods. All other Ali Hazelwoods. I loved this. This was so good. I loved the world we were in. So basically, marriage of convenience, enemies, you know, vampire, werewolf, except there's none of that bullshit. Are you a vampire? Are you a werewolf? No, everyone fucking knows. Which, incredible. Incredible. I love it. I need more. And Allie did say she was going to give us more. So, and there's like a little mystery in the back that's like so good. Yes. I loved Bride. Love it. Proximo. The Yellow Wallpaper. Yes, it's such an easy classic to like and to read and enjoy. I liked it. And it was relatable. And it gave me and my sister like a new little thing. We say we're like, oh, I'm having a yellow wallpaper moment. Tomi by Junji Ito, which I really enjoyed this. I thought it was so good. I was expecting it to be more gross because I think people like really say like, "Oh my God, like Junji Ito's so gross," and like, "Oh my God, it's so scary." I was neither grossed out nor scared, but I was very intrigued, and I love the stories in here, and I love Tomi. That's my girl. Like, love her. So I would definitely recommend this if you like, I guess, gross horror. Pick up Tomi. Also, after I read this, I ended up getting Tomi nails. They came out so good. If I find a picture, I'll insert them. But I love Tomi. Next, The Girls by Emma Cline. I would say yes if you like, sorry, C if you like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that kind of vibe, like kind of like a culty vibe. But for this book and for everything, please, oh, please, if you need them, please look up trigger warnings. Do it. But this was a really good book, and I did start reading The Guest by Emma Cline, I feel like in 2023, but my library hold went like time's up on me, and I didn't get to finish it, but I do want to go back and finish it because she, I think, really has a way of writing these like books where like you're following these characters and you're just like so nervous for them. I'm like, please stop, please stop, please stop, but like you can't look away, and you just need to keep reading. Next, Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Wong. Yes, yes, like 100% yes. This was an incredible standalone, and our main character is like pretty insufferable, and she kind of reminds me, well, okay. So the experience I had reading Blood Over Brighthaven is very similar to experience I had reading Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, where it's like just compulsively readable, and your main character is kind of a train wreck, and you're like, experiencing everything through them, and you're like, girl, you're so embarrassing. But regardless, like, it's just so good. I loved it. I loved the world. It was so intriguing, and I think the way I pictured it in my head was very like Legend of Korra and like arcane kind of world where it's like steampunk, but there's like magic. This was very good. I think everyone should read it, and it also left me feeling very strangely hopeful towards the end for like current world, but who knows? But that's how I felt. Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. C, absolutely 100% C. Now, one thing you must know about me, I'm a Raylo. I'm so sorry. I love them. I think they work. Like, what about it? So this is like Raylo fanfic, and it's so like validating. I can tell me and Julie Soto have the same like Star Wars opinions, but like how this book is set up. But do not get me wrong, this book stands on its own, like sans Star Wars. This book, like as you can see, they're like musicians. There are scenes in this book where they're like feet away from each other, and that might have been the hottest I've ever seen, like ever read. It was so good. The tension, the characters' own journeys, like so good. Major C. Next is another Julie Soto, Forget Me Not. This one I also liked, obviously not as much as Not Another Love Song, but I still liked this one. I liked our characters. I also like its wedding planner, florist, and it's kind of like, I think a second chance. I'm not 100% sure. But I read this while we were like moving in my sister for college. And I read it right after Not Another Love Song. Like I was like, oh, I need more Julie Soto. So I did, and I was not disappointed. Very good. Okay. Speaking of Raylo fanfiction, the Hurricane Wars. Again, do not literally roll your eyes when I say Raylo fanfiction. Don't do it. Don't do it. This book stands on its own, like without the Star Wars universe. This is so good. Now, I'm unaware if it was this universe, like in the fanfic or whatever, But oh my God, the Hurricane Wars. It did take me like 20% to get into it because this book kind of like drops you like right in the action, which I'm realizing that I don't really like because I like to get my bearings. I like to set up everything in my head. I like to like, what are the vibes? But once I was locked in, I was locked in, extremely locked in. It was so good. This is a slow burn. This is a slow burn. And like the slow burn, that's just way things should be. It's just like this is my romantasy. This is my romantasy, and I cannot wait until the next one, the third one, because you say I did read the second one. So next, The Message by Ta-Nehisi Coates. This was very good. I listened to it on audio from my Spotify Premium, and it was very good. It was very sweet. Obviously, he's like an excellent writer, and he has such a way with words. And I loved the introduction, I think, where it's like he's saying that, you know, he owes his students like an essay, and like this is that essay, like the message. I was like, oh, that was very sweet. And obviously, he does have the chapter in here about Palestine and his experiences in Israel and seeing the truth of the apartheid state up close. And it's something that he was unaware of before. Like, he was like, how could have everyone lied to me? So, yeah, it's very good. And I highly recommend listening to the audiobook because he narrates it himself. Next up is A Monsoon Rising. So, this is the sequel to the Hurricane Wars. This was so good. Like, this was incredible. I might almost like it better than the first book because obviously it expands on the story and we get more lore about the world that they're living in. It's so good. And the ending, like, where's the third one? Need it immediately. Need it immediately. All right, Berserk. I gotta be honest. I read 48 books this year. 23 of them around there were volumes of Berserk. I had no idea that I was going to be a Berserk girl. I went into it kind of like as an experiment. Okay, what's the hype? Why do all these dude bros love Berserk? They're like, Guts, my king. Get it. This is so good, but like, I feel like I get it on a more spiritual level than the dude bros get it. Like, this is so good. It's dark fantasy manga. It kind of takes place in like a medieval kind of world where like there's knights. There's a lot of demons, a lot of demons. Um, there's a lot of violence. It's very graphic. Um, think Game of Thrones violence. Yeah. And it's just, feel like it's such a good character study. Like, it really is. Like, we're following like Guts and through his journeys and like what he's been through, and there's a flashback and we see how he came to be, how he is, and moving forward, and he's just like, I love him. We're gonna see all the volumes of Berserk until we get to another book, so we're almost done. Okay, ODB, Oddities, Discord, and B-Sides, Lyrical Ruckus in the City. Now, this is an anthology of stories. We're in New York, and we're in a New York where all, like, the boroughs from different multiverses have, like, come together. And so you have, like, the Brooklyn from a different multiverse with, like, the Harlem from a different multiverse. And, like, we're in the same universe, but also multiverse. Now, and then we have ODB, Old Dirty Bastard, who, if you don't, some people may not know, who is one of the founding members of the Wu-Tang Clan. He is kind of narrating you through this journey, through all these different boroughs. And each story in this borough kind of represents issues in New York, things that have happened in New York, things that are happening in New York. I'm actually going to read part of the summary because I feel like it summarizes it really good. So let me just pull it up here. Okay. So it says, spectral apparitions now haunt the streets of Queens. In the Lower East Side, a rogue artificial intelligence has seized the streets. 100 blocks north, time travelers are throwing a block party in Harlem. And that's only the beginning. Our guide through the splintered mutation of New York's past, present, and future is none other than Old Dirty Bastard himself. Follow him as he leads us through odd, urgent, and powerful tales that cast freedom and oppression, wealth and poverty, love and loss, and even life or death like so many dice in a cosmic game of chance. Like, that's so good. So I really loved this. I think if you're looking, it's super short, as you can see, 104 pages. Each story has a different art style, so I really like that as well. And yeah, this was so good, and I highly suggest picking it up. Especially, I think if you have read The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, which I have it on my TBR, but I read a little bit of it, so I kind of know. If you like that, I think you would like this also, and vice versa. Next up, another Berserk. So we're just gonna go through all the covers of Berserk and just look at them. Here we go. The Coin by Yasmin Zaher. So now in this book, you're following a wealthy Palestinian woman, and she is a teacher at a boys' school, and she kind of gets too attached, and you follow her as she like makes these like she makes decisions that like people may not agree with. And it's kind of like the way I took it is kind of like you're seeing her like she's yearning for something, like she's yearning for belonging, she's yearning for home, and it's kind of like she can't go to like she doesn't really access her inheritance easily. She's like always fitted up. Like she's always wearing like great clothes. She gets into like a little scheme selling fake bags, like counterfeits. But yeah, but like it's still like not enough for her. Like she's obviously looking for more. And she also has kind of a control problem, but like I really love this. I think if you like some of the books that I said before, so like if you liked Her Body and Other Parties, if you liked Eileen, if you like, I would say even the girls, I would say if you like Emma Klein also, I feel like you would really like this. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I loved it. It was one of my favorite ones of this year. And there's just something so like, I don't know, there was something really somber about it. And I don't know, when I was reading it, I really picked up like how she was feeling. Like, I don't know, it was like an out of body experience reading this book, honestly. Then A Magical Girl Retires. This is also a short book, 147 pages. So in this one, we're following our main character who she's about to commit suicide, but she gets saved by a magical girl. And in this world, magical girls, they exist and they have unions and they have job fairs and they have all this like kind of like industry behind them. And our main character ends up becoming a magical girl, and she is tasked with saving the world. But like instead of like a cute wand and stuff, she has a debit card. So yeah, and it's kind of also like tackles like subjects of grief, existentialism, and just like struggling. Like she almost kills herself because she lost her job in the pandemic and she's in debt, and topical, but I will read to you one of the blurbs that they used to market this book is for fans of Sailor Moon facing existential dread. Aren't we all fans of Sailor Moon facing existential dread? I think so. Next up, another Berserk. And That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. C. This is a major C. I love this. Cozy, fantasy, romance, but they also go on an adventure. And this book is also like, it's also about like realizing the world that you know is not what you think it was, and then doing something about it and helping dismantle that. Love it. And I loved Our character Cinnamon, she's so cute, and of course our love interest, like he's super hot. But I love Cinnamon, I love her friends, and I can't wait to continue in this series. This is gonna be, it's very cute. I can't wait. I'm very excited. Another Berserk, bringing down the Duke. I think this is my first historical romance, like ever, and I was obsessed. Like it was me racing against the Libby time that this was due. I think I read it like a day and a half, but I loved it so much. So you're following, I think her name is Annabelle. What is it? Annabelle Archer? Yeah, I think it's Annabelle Archer. So you're following Annabelle Archer, and she is a poor girl from the countryside. And she ends up, I think it's like a program, but she ends up at Oxford, and she joins a group of suffragists. And then one of her like goals is she has to get the Duke to like be on their side. But he's a Tory. But yeah, and then everything goes through there, and it's just so good. And like he has his own things that he's dealing with, but I love Annabelle. I love her friends that we are introduced to in the story. And I love the romance. I thought it was so good. Like they're so obsessed with each other. You know, Annabelle's dealing with some things that she doesn't feel like, worthy or whatnot. But it was very good. I can't wait to continue in the series because this one also, like the Kimberly Lemming one, it's like a series, I believe, of interconnected standalones. And I love that. I love that trend. Next up, Berserk. Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan. See, this was a very short book, and it's very insular, like it's very intimate. So in this book, we follow our main character. I forgot his name, but he's a dad, and it's just his like you're in his brain around the Christmas season, and basically he finds out about, I think they're called Magdalene Irish laundries, and basically those are these places where troubled women were put to like work. It was basically like slave labor, and it was like troubled women in where, oh, they had sex before marriage, or they were sex workers, or they had a kid, or they were like go against the norm. They were like put in these like convents, and they were like forced to work like crazy. And he is faced with evidence of that, and it's kind of like, what does he do? And you're in his brain as he tries to figure it out. And it's very insular, it's very intimate. There is a movie out with, what is his name? Killian Murphy. I haven't seen it yet, but I do really like this book, and I'm definitely gonna pick up Claire Keegan in the future. More Berserk. More Berserk. Behind You is the Sea by Susan Muadai Daraj. I'm so sorry. I really like this. I have seen some reviews that say like the stories are kind of stereotypical, which I see, but like I guess I can see both sides of that. But I do like this book. Um, I think if you've read Post Traumatic by Chantal V. Johnson, you would really like this. And I think also if you like stuff like The Girls, like subject matter, not writing style. But basically in this book, you're following a Palestinian like Christian community in Baltimore. And this community is like very diverse in the way where you have like wealthy people, you have poor people, you have people of different like professions, and it's kind of like, and they also have like I feel like different levels of like assimilating to like American culture. And so you're getting a lot of different like and unique perspectives. And some of the characters are really unlikable, but I personally love an unlikable character, and I still think we have things to learn from unlikable characters. So I would definitely recommend this if you like short stories. More Berserk. More Berserk. That's it. That is it. So those are the 48 books that I read this year. 23 of them being Berserk. So yeah. Well, I hope you guys like this video. If you disagree with anything I've said, please let me know in the comments. Let's discuss. Have you read Berserk? Do you like Berserk? Do you read manga? Do you like Bringing Down the Duke? Do you like That Time I Got Drunk and Saved the Demon? I need to know. Oh, are you a Raylo? Are you a Raylo? Don't be shy. I can handle it. So, yeah. Thank you so much. Next video coming someday. Soon. Alright. Thank you. Bye.